Hi everyone, it's Sue. I'm back with another video of this giveaway journal that we're doing, and I was just finishing up stitching this belly band, so I just thought I'll finish that off and I'll just show you where we're at. I have done a little bit off screen, so I thought what I'd do today is we'd just go through and just do this. I thought we'd just go through and I'll show you what I've done. I have prepared a few tags, etc., and we'll complete them together today. But also what I thought we would do is once we've done that, I will go off screen, and this linen here is an absolute nightmare because it's so open weave. You've got to be really careful. I don't even know whether you can see what I'm doing. So I've done stitched a vine, and I'm just adding French knots now to make the little flowers, but because it's so open weave, you've got to be really careful. The French knots slip through. So there we go. So don't look at my back. The back side is really messy. I'm just going to finish that off. So I was just finishing that off, so I thought I'd start the camera and get rolling with this video. So as I was saying, sorry, I'm all over the place again. We will just work through what I've prepped and put some bits and pieces together in the journal today, and then the next video that we do, I will actually do a final flip through. Oops, sorry, just putting some pens away here. I'll do a final flip through of the journal and a few other bits and pieces that I'm going to do in the giveaway, and then after that video you'll have a week to comment on any videos if you want an entry. And then I will do the draw. So we're getting closer. It's been a bit drawn out, hasn't it? I'm sorry. Okay, so as you can see, I've got a little bit of linen with some lace on it, and I've just stitched vine using variegated thread and done some little French knots and made them into little flowers there. So I thought I'd use that. I've used one as a belly band. I have done one. I'll show you in here. I can find where I've done it. Somewhere in here. What I might do is I'll just show you what I've done so far off screen. So not a lot here, obviously. I've ended up doing that extra pocket, stitched around it, and I've just used some extra threads and just done a little bird's nest there. Put some pearls in the center of it. So that's a pocket. This is one of those craft pockets, and I've just done a little cluster there, stitched that and just added to that because it was just a little bit plain. So I've just done that. I think we'd already done that ruffle, done the tuck. So I have done some cards and tags, so we'll add some there soon. So I have done this little element here, and I've added a little dangle. This has come off a necklace that I've found at an op shop. So I've just clipped that on, added this metal tab, and I've just used Andrea's, one of her sheets out of the springtime kit, and I've printed them on cardboard, and I've made tags and backed them together, and I've hinged them with the fabric that we've got on the front cover here. So it opens up like that. Okay, so what I thought with this is you could just add some photos, or you could just use it as a decorative piece. But I've also added, this is a pocket at the back, And I've just made a little tag there and backed it with some coffee dough paper. And a little bit of cheese, what do you call that? Sari silk for the top. Okay, so I'll just clip that on. That does actually stay closed on its own, but just to make sure it doesn't cause too many issues, I've just added that clip there with that little dangle. Okay. What else have I done? So here on this side, I've just made an elongated tag and added some of the fabric from the front cover. And I'll probably add like a butterfly or something there as well. So this is the pocket that we did last time, the paper bag pocket. So I actually went ahead and did some of those watercolor journaling cards that I was talking about. So I've just done that and popped that in there. And this is just an A4 sheet of coffee dye paper. Now I've added some what looks like aged sticky tape, and I'll just show you what it is that I'm using. I needed sticky tape for all my packaging and everything, and I ended up buying this clear tape, it's called, and I just thought I'll get it. There's 10 rolls, I think. It was $10.49, and I thought I'll use, no, 12 rolls. I thought I'm going to use it, so it'll come in handy. But when I opened it up, I was quite disappointed because it's actually brown. But then when I thought about it, I thought, well, that's quite good actually, because it looks like it's aged tape. So, and that's what I've done here, is I've just added that. I've torn the page and then just added a bit of the sticky tape, and it looks like it's been there for a while. So that came in really handy actually. So on this sheet, all I've done is I've just torn one of Andrea's sheets, and it's just on printer, what do you call it? Yeah, printer paper, and added that there. And then I've just sewn around and then just folded that in threes, and that just sits in there. It sticks out the top. I'm okay with that. I like things sticking out the top of my journals. So that's our flip that we've done. What else have we done here? Oh, okay, so I've added just in this pocket here, I've just added a strip of that blue fern scrapbooking paper that I was showing you in the last video, I think, just to cover up some of that writing. And then I've just laid 3 different sari silks together, stitched them, and then I've just added that to that. So it's just a bit more texture. I might add a charm or something there. I haven't got that far yet. What else have we done? So this is just another pocket that I just added an elongated tag. As I said, I'll probably add another butterfly or something onto that one. Still got to decorate this here. So it's coming along. I've still got to do something with that pocket there. So here we've got one of these pieces that was stitching when the video first started. So I've sewn around this just to secure the lace and everything down. So, and I've also glued it, so it's not going anywhere, the stitching's not going anywhere, it's all secured. And this is just a belly band, so we can end up putting some bits and pieces in there. So that's a belly band for that. This, I thought, had a bit of an idea. I'm thinking I'm going to use this one here. This opens up like that. So I will back that onto some card as well, just to make it a little bit more secure. Yeah, so that's what I've done. I think it's turned out quite pretty actually. When I first started doing journals, I always added some form of stitching in my journals because I'm a quilter as well and I love embroidery. So it was nice to actually get back to that. So I think I'll be doing that more in my journals. So this is, I think we had done this pocket in a previous video, and I've just added a charm there. and a little rosette trim. In here I've just added another one of those watercolor swatch journaling cards that I've done. This is just I'm pretty sure this is one of Andrea's journaling cards as well. So I've just backed that onto some tea dye paper, and this is just a journaling card that I had in my stash. So probably I might even just add a tab to this one as well, like the other one. So there's lots of little bits and pieces that need to be finished up, and as I said, I probably will do that off screen and then come back with the finished journal next video. So what I thought I'd do today is just show you what I've few other bits and pieces that I've done, and we can add them throughout the journal. So these journaling cards, which I think are Andrea's, pretty sure they are. So all I've done is I've just backed them onto tea dye paper and sewn around them. Now some of these I thought I might add a little bit of a ruffle or something, just to sort of add a little bit more texture. So this one I probably won't, because there's enough going on with that one. So we might even add that to that pocket. And this one I probably wouldn't add anything to that one as well. So let's find somewhere where we can put that. Now this is what I do, is I go through and I just fill pockets and that sort of thing. And then I might change them around once I've finished, you know, decorating and whatever. I might decide that that's not where they go. So I'm going to probably clip a few bits and pieces in so that they can be taken out if you don't want to use them in this journal, or they can be moved in throughout the journal where you want them to go. So that's my way of thinking. So this one here, I'm going to add something to it. This one I possibly won't, so we might even just pop it in there for now, in that belly band. Okay, so what I've also done is on some of those blue fern papers I've had with cutting the pockets and that, I've had some little strips left over, so I've just made tags out of them, and I've just added a little bit of modeling paste, as you can see, through a stencil, and then just inked them up. So they're just little decorative tags. Now what I've also done, you can add if you've got like a sprocket printer or something, the photos will fit on that. You can add a photo, you can just use it as a decorative piece if you want to. But what I've done is I've also included, I've had some scraps of paper that I've had left over. Where are they? Different sizes. And I've just stitched around them, so you can glue them to that and add them as a journaling spot if you want to. So I'll just pop them in the journal as well. So I have done a video before what I like to do with scraps of paper, and I'll just show you that's where these sort of have come from. If I remember, I'll try and link that video below as well. So what I like to do sometimes, if I don't have much time spare, I'll just grab my scraps drawer and I'll stitch some strips. So these can go on a page as a decorative piece. I mean, obviously not there, but just to give you an idea. So you can trim that off, glue that down, and it looks like you've actually stitched it to your page. So what I do is, yeah, so here, scraps, I would actually cut that or tear that. So then you've got two strips. Same with this. I would cut or tear these pieces and use them. So here's the offcuts of some printables that I've used. Let me just hope I don't make a hash of this now. So all I would do is just tear these. It's a matter of getting that, because you've got a small edge, I'm getting the tearing happening. So I'm just going to pull those little bits off. Out of the way. making this look really difficult. But that gives you a little bit of an idea. I'm just going to tear that extra bit off there. So it gives you a little bit of an idea. I would then ink the edges here. And trim off the excess threads, although depending on where you want it to go in your journal or your cards, whatever it is that you're making. So see, that would nearly be perfect for there. So I would then just trim these threads off a little bit. I'd still leave them hanging because I like that look. And you could just use that and just use that as a decorative piece on your page, and just glue that down. So that's something that I like to do if I've got a spare 10 minutes or something and I just feel like being in my room. So I do that. And then what have I done with? There are normally what I like to do as well is if I've got bigger scraps, and I don't know what I've done with them now, is do, sorry, just bear with me. Here they are here. I'd like to do these. So just doing random squares or triangles. I've roughly, haven't measured it, I've just drawn lines just to give me a bit of an indication of a shape, and I've just sewn in there. And then the same thing, you can cut or tear those and then they become journaling spots. So there's a few more that I've done. That was just a scrap that I had, so I've just sewn that. This is actually a die that I have and I'm yet to sew around those. So that's just something that I like to do as well. So that's what I've done with those little bits of paper here. So I just thought they could come in handy as a journaling spot on the back of the tag, if you on one of those smaller tags if you want. You could add it anywhere throughout your journal. So they're just a couple of tags that I've also done. So I will add them in pockets or somewhere throughout the journal there. Okay. So that's something else that I've done. Something else I made was I finished off that other paper bag pocket. And as I said, I think if you remember that it's got the clock there, and I knew that I had some clocks somewhere. So I've cut them out of this, which is, I don't even know what company it is. Collections. So I've just punched them out of there. So I've added 2 clock faces, a little bit of lace, a little bit of cheesecloth, and then butterfly, one of Auntie May's butterflies there as well. So that's another little pocket. So what we might do is we might actually stick that one down. I have got mess everywhere, guys. It's out of control. It's driving me mad. So I'm sorry that I've done quite a bit more off camera, but I struggle a bit. I'm not used to actually creating too much beyond a tutorial on camera. So I've sort of really felt nervous about them being too long and dragging out a bit. So I've done, have done a fair bit off camera, but yeah, I hope you don't mind, but you can sort of see what I've been doing, what I've been up to. And I just want to be able to get this journal sent out to someone before too long. I'm just trying to find where I can put this. I don't want to use up too much of the blank pages so that there's still plenty of journaling space for you. So I'm just trying to find, and as I've said in previous video, I like to try and do a similar embellishment or piece of ephemera in the front of the journal as well as the back. So I might just add, because I think that one was on the left hand side. Yeah, so that's on the left hand side. So I might actually add this one to the right hand side of that craft paper there. So I'm just going to do the 3 sides, and I'm going to have it as a tuck as well as a pocket again. Okay, so I'll just find my glue. So I hope you've all been doing really well. To be quite honest, I've been really struggling to be creative lately. I have no, well, I do know what the problem is, but yeah, I lost my job last week, which has really really affected me. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll have to, I'm giving myself a week or so, and then I'm going to have to find another job. But as we all know, in these times, it's hard. Every man and his dog is looking for a job, so hopefully something will happen soon. So yeah, as I said, I think that's just thrown me for a bit of a loop, so I just really can't focus on anything at the moment. But I have actually enjoyed doing this off camera, even though it's taking me forever. So okay, so I'm just pressing that down just so that the glue adheres there. So we've got a pocket tuck at the back, and then we've got a nice pocket here as well. So we're not going to muck around with that too much until we let the glue grab properly. Okay, so we've added that. So another couple of things that I've done is I've just made this elongated tag, which I absolutely love. I really love how it's turned out, and I've stitched around it. I've added some fabric from the fabric that we've used on the front, and then I've just added these 2 little charms which have come from an old necklace that I found at an op shop. So I just think those colors work in really well with the journal. So I may make a elongated pocket for that to go in. I haven't really decided yet what I'm going to do with that, because it's, you know, I could have it just sitting in a tuck like that. So we may do that, I don't know, but that's another one that I've made. So this was just another strip. I had 2 strips left of Auntie Maze's printables, and I'd printed them on cardstock, so I just backed them together, stitched them around, and then just added a bit of fabric and a couple of charms. So you could even use that as a bookmark, I guess, as to where you are up to with your journaling. Okay, what else have we done? Same thing, I've just done, I think these are, actually I think these are my Porch Prints journaling cards. From memory, I had these in my stash, and I was just looking for something, and I thought they might go quite nicely. So same thing, I've just backed them onto tea stained paper, sewn around them, inked them, and I just think, I mean, you really don't need to do anything with them at all. I mean, you can do more with them if you want to, but I just think they look really lovely as is. So I'm going to tuck one of those in there, in that pocket, and the others we will find spaces for. So with this journal as well, whoever wins it, I will add some extra bits and pieces of ephemera within it and some ruffles, and you can actually glue them in throughout the journal as you journal if you like, or you can use them in another journal, whatever you like to do. Okay. So I also, looking through my stash, I found my roll of linen that I had. So I thought, well, that's going to sit on my desk because I like stamping, and I just had a couple of stamps close by. So I have just stamped a couple of stamps onto a couple of strips of linen there. So I'm going to add them in the journal somewhere as well. So that's another piece there. So I took the liberty of making some pockets for the front and back covers as well. And also I'm pretty sure I've got a video on how I make these as well, and I will endeavour to remember to link that down below. So what I do with these is I just glue 2 sides, and I just stick them in there in the front like that, so it's got a tuck there Okay, so I'm not going to glue them in just yet because I don't know whether I want to add a bit more stitching on here. I know that I'm going to add these beautiful butterflies that came from Artie Mays' kit as well. This is the printable that I've printed out. And my printer and my computer have all of a sudden decided not to communicate, so I can't print anything extra out at the moment. So I'm hoping that I've got enough printed so that I can complete this journal. So I was thinking I might even just add a little bit of cheesecloth and the butterfly. I don't think it really needs a lot more than that. Sometimes less is more, isn't it? And I'm thinking I like to have you know, bits of lace and that hanging out the bottom, so I might just add that there. So that's what I'm thinking, a bit of cheesecloth and a butterfly there, and then I've done the opposite way for the back cover. So there, and then I've cut that butterfly there as well. So a little bit of white there. I've just inked around them just to hide any white bits that might be showing from the cutting. So that's what I'm thinking. So I think that's what I will do there as well. So as I said, I've done a tutorial on how to make these pockets. I'll try and link them below. Otherwise, if I forget, they'll be in my videos. So I like that sort of pocket. I think it's turned out really well. Okay, so I'm going to have a bit more of a think about those and how I want to, if I want to decorate them any more than that. So we're not going to do that either. But so I guess today really is just a little bit of a muck around and just show you what I've done. And as I said, I'll finish it all off camera. I've just really taken so long. And I just really want someone to be able to win this and enjoy it. So another couple of tags that I've done is I've just cut, I've had bits and pieces of a couple of printables of Andrea's again. And so I've just cut these. I think they're about 3 inches, 3¼ inches by 6, 3 inches by 6¼ I've just left them rectangular, haven't curved any of the edges or anything. Backed them with tea-dyed paper, as you can see. And then I've just added another little bit of modelling paste there and inked it up, just for a bit of texture. So, and then here I've just laid a couple of colours of sari silk that match in with the colours that we've got going throughout the journal. Same here, I've just added a bit of modelling paste through a stencil. This one had two butterflies, and then I've just added, fussy cut one of Andrea's butterflies out and stitched through that. You can see it's 3D. It's going to be stitching on the back. I always forget, like I could have probably stitched this on and then backed it with tea-dyed paper, but I don't mind that. I mean, you can still write over that. So that one's a pretty tag. And this one's the same. I've just added a little bit of modelling paste there. And then just layered some sari silk there as well. So I think they look really pretty. All the colours have come together so nicely. So these ones I thought would go nicely in the doily tucks that we have here. So what have we got on this side? So I think we might just put one there. And then if we find the other one, we can use one of those in there. No, where is it? Can never find things when you want to. There we go. So I probably won't use the 3D one because I don't want to ruin that butterfly. So we can probably pop that there. Need something else there just to break that so that the colour of that pops out a bit. So I'll do another tag or something to go in there. And then we've got this one left over that we can put through further on. So, okay, so I also showed you this paper bag that I don't even know where it came from. I think it's from something that I ordered, and the product came in that, and I've kept it. So I thought I might use that to hinge in as a flip out in the journal. So what we might do is I'll just show you, I think I've shown you before as well, but for those who haven't seen it, just how I do hinge things. So sometimes I like to sew, so this tag flip out that I did, I basted the fabric to the tags first with some glue, and then I sewed this fabric through the tags. Does that make sense? So so it was all sewn, yeah. So I've gone around and sewn down here and gone around, that sort of thing. So another way that I like to do, you don't have to do it that way, particularly if you're not sure, you know, where you're heading with something. I like to, excuse me, I'm just going to sneeze. Oh, excuse me. So another thing that I like to do is just cut or tear my bits of fabric and just sew them on the machine first, and then we can glue this so that it actually looks like you've sewn through. But particularly with a paper bag, you're not sewing through and taking up real estate. So if I added them and then sewed them on there, you'd be losing, you know, a centimetre of your bag, which isn't much, but still, I mean, every little bit counts, doesn't it? So what we'd be doing with this today is, so I'm going to use this one on the back, I think. Get rid of this bit of thread. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue, just put a bead of glue down the side here. And I'm just going to work out just approximately halfway into that. Sorry if my head gets in screen there. Halfway into that piece of fabric. Now you want it in line up here with the flap. If it's hangs a little bit lower than the base, that's fine. We can trim that off. Does that make sense? So I'm just going to try and line that up. Doesn't matter if it's not straight. So we want a hinge for, let me think, what am I doing here? What am I doing? So what I'm trying to say is, so this is the hinge at the back. So that's going to go onto the back of the, that's going to glue to the page. Okay. This is a bit crooked for my liking, but oh well, it's stuck there now. I just have to get over it. So this part's going to glue to the page on the journal, and then the other hinge, I'll do it. I'm really bad at explaining stuff, so let me just work out. So I've got that flip out tag there. We might do a flip out. So we might add, so if we were to add this bag here, it's still going to allow you to have journaling space here. So might do it. I might do it here. Okay, so what I would do is I would now glue this side. So we've glued, what am I doing? Sorry guys, I'm not thinking. Let me have a think about this. So where are we going? So we want it to flip like that. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to glue this piece of fabric here. And we're going to adhere that to the page. Okay. So I'm going to add it to the top because the base of my journal is getting quite full. You can see like most of the embellishments and ephemera are at the base of the journal. So I'm just going to add this to the top of the journal. So the best way I find to do this is put the page there. So you just want the tiniest little piece or gap between the page and the piece that you're hinging onto the page. Okay, does that make sense? So I'm just going to apply pressure just so that that glues down, and this has moved again. If you're quick, you can, oh God, I'm making this look really hard. It's really not that hard. So you can see there, you can see that that's glued down. There's a tiny fraction there so that it can fold. So see what I mean? It's just so that it can fold without crinkling your paper bag. So I'm just going to press that down so that that adheres well. And you can go back and add a bit of glue if you're finding that it's not sticking properly. Okay, so now, so you've got your bag. So that's the way I want it to sit. I want it to sit like that on the page, and I want it to hinge out like that. So now we're going to add the hinge here, and then we're going to wrap it around to this side of the page, to the other side. Probably not making any sense at all. So we're just going to glue this side again. So line it up with the top of the bag. And just press that down just so that that sticks down. And then we're going to, so you can see you've got excess fabric here. We're going to wrap that around and we're going to glue that to that side of the page. And as you can see, this is lifting a little bit, but we can, once that's the main part of the hinge has actually stuck down, we can go back and add a bit more glue just so that that all stays there and it's not going to move. So this is all going to fray as well, the more you use your journal. And once again, if you don't like that, you can cut that off. So I'll come back and I'll glue that once the glue's dried. But you can see there, so now you've got the paper bag and you've got all access to all of the bag without having any stitching through there. And that's a nice little flip out there. So I folded down the top and I just thought I might add this with a bit of cheesecloth or something, just so that it can tuck in there and hide whatever's in there. Okay, so I'm just going to grab some cheesecloth. So just need to cut a piece. Oh, I dyed this weeks ago and it still smells beautiful. It smells of coffee. Okay, so what I need to do is just work out so the cheesecloth I don't want to go right up to the top. So what I might do is I'm just going to put it So I don't want it caught in the flap, if you know what I mean. So I'm just going to work out where I need to glue. So probably from about there down. So I'm just going to add glue. So this is all going to seep through the cheesecloth through to the image underneath. I don't know if this is the right way to do it. This is the way that I do it. So I don't think, to be quite honest, I don't think there's any right or wrong when it comes to junk journaling. So I'm just going to push that down just so that that adheres through the printable there. And same thing, when this dries, like just pull the cheesecloth so that it makes it a bit more tactile, a bit rougher, and then it's just a little tuck there just to tuck that the top of that bag in. That will close. Like I'm just holding that now so that that adheres. Okay, so you can just hold that up there, and then that just keeps it closed. I will pull that so that that actually frays, so that it's not looking so square like that. So I will do that. And I'm just thinking now, even I might add a little bit of a ruffle or something, or do a little collage piece or something here just to finish that off. Same thing, if you wanted to, you could use these, even, you know, I might even add a few bigger pieces, and you could glue a journaling spot onto that as well. And then you could even do the same on the back here if you wanted to, or you could collage, whatever you wanted to do. Okay, so that's one way of using paper bags and that type of thing as well. So you can hinge them as a flip out, so they're not taking up journaling space. You're not actually gluing them onto your page, but they're adding an extra pocket for you as well. Okay, what else? I did do, I'm loving watercolor paper as a substrate at the moment. So even printing off printables onto watercolor paper, I'm really, really loving it. So I've just done, I thought I might make some tags with this. So I've still got a little bit more to do to this, but all I've done, so that's the watercolor paper on the back. You can see the difference is I've got this little glass square that I use. I used to have one of those Tim Holtz mats, but I used it so much it had holes in it and it was just totally wrecked, so I got rid of it. So I use this for this type of thing. So I can just show you quickly. I think once again I do have a video on doing one of these. This is inspired from Andrea as well at Artie Mays. So this is just a small piece of watercolor paper, and it's not anything flash. It's not, just trying to find the front of it. It's just a J Mark watercolor artist pad 160 GSM. So yeah, it's not great quality, but for this sort of thing, when you're making tags and you're going to back it with coffee dough paper and that sort of thing as well, it doesn't really matter. It's still quite firm. So all I did, so the colours that I've used in here are Victorian Velvet and Iced Spruce. And then I've inked over, once it was all dried, I've inked over the top with Vintage Photo. I did do, and I don't know what I've done. Oh, here they are. I've done a couple of postcards, and this was off a piece of paper card that I had done ages ago. And I've added antique linen. Yes, antique linen. So you can see the difference. Like these are quite yellow in comparison. But I will use these throughout this journal because, you know, with the Edith Holden papers, they've got quite a yellow tinge. So I think that they all go quite nicely. So I'm going to do those two. I think I'm just going to stitch around them and they can just be journaling cards. So I've got them on my sewing machine at the moment. Yes, so that was antique, done with antique linen, that one. So I'm going to stitch that. So I'll just quickly show you what I did. And most of you, more than likely, will already know how to do this. This keeps falling off, and I did glue it, but it's obviously not working. So I just run the ink pad over the piece of glass. And I've just got a water bottle here, and I just spray. So you can just add, you can leave it like that. I tend to sort of move it around my piece a bit. So there's not a lot of that Victorian velvet on there. And then I just, you can see, just dip it and you get, so it's probably like, what am I trying to say? It's quite a lot in one place, but then when you get to the next stage with the ice spruce, you can fill those white bits. So I'm just going to grab another piece of watercolor paper and just wipe the majority of that up rather than wasting it. So yeah, see, I've pushed to, you know, like I'm trying to do it in a hurry. And I've got a lot there. But anyway, like you cut them up into tags, so it doesn't really matter. So I will just get a wipe and just wipe that away. So I would normally wait for that to dry, but just for the video today. So with the ice spruce, same thing, add that on, add water. This one's an oxide, so it reacts differently. Same thing, I just like to move it around. I don't know whether that's right or wrong, but that's just what I do. And yeah, I guess you just try and work with the places where there's white space. So see, this is turning out quite differently. Each time you do it, you'll get a different effect. So you can see the colour coming onto your page there. And I'll just use that to wipe up the rest of that. That's not, colour's not really transferring so much on this one. And you can go back again and you can add more colour of the same ink pads if you want to. You can add extra colours. So anyway, there's not much. I'm just going to pop that down and just go like that. Goodness knows what's going to happen. So it looks a bit dirty there. Anyway, you get the idea. So once they're dry, I'll have another look, and I might go back in with, because there's quite a lot of pink there, I might darken up the ice spruce, just make it a little bit darker in places. And then I will ink, once they're all dry, I normally go with one of the ink pads, sponges, and just go over the whole top of that, and then you've got a base for tags or journaling cards, that sort of thing. So that's how I came up with that. And yeah, I mean, you can collage on that, you can stamp on that, you can, you know, like I've just stamped those postcards. These stamps are actually available in my website if you're interested. On my website if you're interested, I'll put the link down below as well. I love this stamp, it's so versatile. So yeah, and then it's just another piece of paper that you can use, that you've created yourself, and it's a beautiful background to start making tags and that sort of thing. All right, so I think I'm going to leave that there today. So at this stage, the next video should be the flip through of the completed journal. If I come up with something else that I think I can share with you how I make it, I will share that with you quickly. As I said, I just want to get this completed so that I can give one of my beautiful subscribers the chance to win this and get it out to them. I will be having a few other bits and pieces as giveaways, so there won't be just the one prize. This will be the main prize. So if you're wanting to get an entry, or if you've already got an entry, that's fine, you can get another one. Just make sure that you're a subscriber, like this video, and answer the question that I pop in the description box, and I'll give you another entry. So I've got quite a few entries at the moment. It's very exciting, and I'd just like to thank all of you for your support and all your love and all your beautiful comments. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks this will be heading out to its new home. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it with you there today. I hope you're all keeping well, and until next time, I hope you get a little bit of crafting time in. Take care. Bye-bye.